Greetings. It's Eric Bakker from New Zealand. Thanks for coming back. Now, here's a question I've been asked numerous times. What is the difference between a Candida cleanse and a Candida diet? Why would we use both of those terms? Well, that's a good question. The difference is a Candida cleanse is going to be shorter term, more concentrated, with a more focus on antimicrobial specific foods. The Candida diet is a bit longer term. So let's define that a bit more. I find the best time to do a Candida cleanse is right now for me, being in New Zealand, is springtime coming into summertime. Especially, that transition and the first month or so of summer is excellent. This is when you've got an abundance of fresh produce, an abundance of fresh spices, fresh herbs that come through from the garden. This is a key time to do it. Candida diet is basically similar to a cleanse, but you're going to dial it back a bit and do it more prolonged, more long term, right? Candida diet really, in my mind, infers thinking about not having, for example, alcohol for a long period of time, changing the way you drink, changing the way you eat. And diet, I would say I'd focus more also on lifestyle along with diet. The cleanse is more crash, the diet is more long term. So the cleanse you can do really over 4 weeks. You can over 3 weeks. Usually 3 to 4 weeks is about a good period of time to do a cleanse. Good time to do it often is with the diet change. As you're changing your diet, you're doing the cleanse at the same time. Right? I talk in the book, Candida Crusher book, initially about going on the big cleanup. Right? That can be part of your cleanse. Some people use the word detox for cleanse. So you could even use the word Candida detox, for example. Now be careful not to make these cleanses too short and too powerful, especially if you haven't done any testing prior to doing a cleanse, because you can get yourself into hot water. So a lot of people try and push things through very quick. So they'll say, well, they'll wake up one day saying, I've got a Candida problem, I'm going to go on a Candida cleanse, and they'll get all these different pills and foods, and they'll just push it right through. And then they feel like crap. They feel like absolute crap. They feel like they woke up with a whiskey bottle in their hand. It's empty kind of thing, I've seen it done many times. Don't make that mistake. Right? You don't want a hangover feeling. And a lot of people feel hungover through inappropriate Candida cleansing. If you've really got a long-term gut problem and you really believe you've got a Candida issue, testing is definitely a smart option. Out of all of the thousands and thousands of people I've worked with, hundreds have come back regretting they never tested earlier on rather than later on. Many people. Find out what's going on before you do something against what you believe is going on. Right? Makes a lot of sense. Get the facts right first. Then do the cleanse, and it's going to be a more targeted approach. And you're going to be able to also work out how long the cleanse is going to take based on the correct assessment prior to the cleanse. Isn't it clever? If you're going to build a house, you're going to wake up one day and say, I'm going to build a house. Now, where am I going to put the walls? Let's have a think about it. Okay. Normally, you go to an architect or you go to a person who draws up plans. And that may involve getting an engineer involved. And then when you've got plans, you generally go to a person who's called a builder. And they're going to help to put the house together. That's how it's done properly. But not everyone does things properly these days. Right? So I take it you're not a builder or an architect or an engineer. I take it you're just a Joe Blow like me. Now, I wouldn't get things done like that without getting experts involved, getting the right kind of paperwork done. To me, the body is probably more important than the house you're going to build. Get your facts right, people. Get your facts right before you do the cleanse. Work out what you really need for this cleanse in terms of a supplement or a diet. It's going to help to guide you. The cleanse can often lead into the Candida diet, and it usually does. So do the cleanse first, after you've made the assessment, do the cleanse, and then lead into the Candida diet. And then the Candida diet slowly becomes a default diet for you because it will slowly be adapted by you to suit your needs. So no diet is fixed. Nothing is fixed in this world. Everything's changeable. You can change your diet to suit yourself as your tummy, and your health improves. You're going to make those changes. So that's the difference between the Candida cleanse and the Candida diet. The cleanse is more vigorous, it's short term, it's best performed after a test, and that can lead into the diet. which will eventually become a default diet. And there you have it. Thanks for tuning in.